Why do we misinterpret a child's nonverbal communication? Imagine trying to understand a language you've never learned. That's often what adults experience when they try to read a child's silent signals. Children share their feelings and needs through facial expressions, gestures, sounds, and body movements long before they speak words. These nonverbal cues are tiny hints that tell us what they're experiencing. But why do we sometimes get it wrong? One big reason is that adults tend to see these signals through their own eyes. We interpret a child's actions based on our adult expectations, not on what the child is actually trying to communicate. For example, a baby crying might mean hunger, discomfort, or even tiredness. Without knowing the context or the child's developmental stage, we might guess wrong. A gesture like reaching out can mean different things depending on how old the child is or what they've learned to do at that. Children's brains are growing fast, especially in the early years. During this time, they develop the neural pathways that help them understand and use language. In the beginning, they're relying heavily on sensory cues like eye contact, facial expressions, and tone of voice to share meaning. Adults unfamiliar with these stages might overlook how important these tiny signals are or misread them as unrelated behaviors. Another factor is that babies understand more than they can say. They often process language and social cues before they can produce clear sounds or gestures. This gap can make adults think the child isn't paying attention or isn't trying to communicate. But in reality, the child might be understanding everything and just waiting for the right moment to express themselves. Cultural differences also play a role. What signals happiness or distress in one culture might look different in another. Each child is unique, with their own way of showing needs and feelings. Caregivers need to learn and adapt to these individual ways of communication. Understanding that nonverbal cues are part of a child's brain development helps us see their signals as meaningful. These cues reflected their social skills, emotional regulation, and early language learning. When adults observe patterns over time and respond with attention and kindness, they help children feel safe and understood. To avoid misreading these signals, caregivers should watch how a child responds in different situations. Responding with words and gestures helps children learn the rules of communication. Being sensitive to subtle cues and providing appropriate responses supports their brain growth and language skills. Learning about typical developmental milestones also helps adults set realistic expectations. Recognizing that nonverbal communication is a foundation for language helps us see these behaviors as important steps in a child's growth. When we understand the stages of brain development and communication, we can better support children as they learn to express themselves. In the end, misinterpretation happens because these signals are complex, context-dependent, and tied to ongoing brain development. When adults take the time to learn and respond thoughtfully, they can better understand what children are trying to say without words. This helps children feel more confident and supported as they grow and learn to communicate.